Hi, so today we're going to be doing the recorded presentation for the SIDS system for Waters Commercial Contractors Incorporated. I wanted to begin by giving a mention to the contact person for this project, Anthony Mendoza, the Senior Project Manager for Waters Commercial Contractors Incorporated. He is the go-between, providing organizational details for the project lead. Go ahead and create this project. I just wanted to mention him before we got started. Um, We're going to go through organizational model. I just briefly want to discuss this moving forward. The current issue that we're facing is the utilization of a paper-based system, which is slowing down the transfer of information. Now, to discuss this, the main issue is signage reports. Generally, the project manager must go to a site location, fill out the signage reports, submit that paper document to purchasing. Once purchasing receives that, they can then order the parts. The different requirements are listed, and that will then be sent to the warehouse. The warehouse then has to notify the office staff, who then notifies the project manager, who then notifies the crew lead to pick up the materials. Using a paper-based system, this causes delays in the process. Something that has been mentioned previous times in the past as something they want to address and automate. So now let's move on to the organizational solution. I'll go ahead and read this for you. The business objectives of this project are to create an efficient means of communication throughout various departments, saving time and coordination efforts to better serve the organization's long-term goals, providing opportunities to reduce the delays of various project activities. For instance, if a series of signs have arrived in the warehouse and the project manager is not aware of for 2 days, the crew will not be notified until day 3 that the signs are available for installation, causing a 3-day delay to the project, meaning measurables will be based on the time saved. If the new database system notifies the project manager the signs have arrived, while notifying the crew lead to pick up the signs prior to leaving to the site, the database system has saved the crew 3 days. Comparing the old system to the new to anticipate the ability for additional projects of the following year. Now, essentially what we're saying here is we're trying to save time for these projects. Even a 2 to 3 day delay in the project just for something as simple as signs can cause tremendous issues. For instance, other projects may be delayed, pushing back projects a couple of weeks. So we really want to create a database system that could be utilized throughout all the departments for um, products moving far beyond just signage. But for this initial project, we want to focus solely on signage. Now let's move on to the organizational objectives. We want to design an interactive inventory database system for on-site project management, meaning we want a tablet system that we can go ahead and use on-site to go ahead and put in the inputs that'll then be sent to a database system that warehouse, purchasing, office staff, the project manager can then be updated in real time. Creating a more efficient process in the transfer of information from on-site to the office personnel. Begin the automation of specific tasks involved throughout the organization's construction implementation process. Again, we want to move on to other aspects besides just signage, but for this initial project, we want to focus specifically on signage and then expand outward. We want to feature integrated system design layouts for signage locations and specifications of projects. We want to be able to make the system as specific as possible so that no minor details are overlooked. Now let's move on to the vision and scope of this document. Okay. So the vision statement that we provided here is the ability to integrate advancements within the communications of the organization for the purposes of accelerating project completion times using database processing systems. A user interface will be designed and utilized for on-site and office personnel to efficiently transmit information in real time to coordinate project completions. As well as the on-site usage, we also want office staff, warehouse staff, departmental staff to go ahead and be able to place inputs that the project team or the on-site crew can go ahead and see in real time and make the necessary changes. Scope statement. The scope of this project is to design an interactive inventory database system for on-site project management featuring integrated system design layouts for signage location specifications of projects. As we just mentioned, the application must be able to identify the type of signage, signage codes, size, and features, while providing reference points and notes. The database system must be accessible through a tablet system, which interacts with office and warehouse devices. The system must be capable of sending and receiving alerts to various personnel based on job title, allowing for real-time updates of all devices. Essentially saying that we need to be able to send and receive alerts to various personnel. So again, with the project manager, the signage just arrived, an alert is sent to the device for the project manager, who then can make a quick change on there, and the project or the crew lead can then go ahead and pick up the sign. As opposed to waiting for it to be processed, the paperwork to come through to the project manager's office, and then the project manager is submitting a paper-based system or a proposal to go ahead and complete the work order, and the project lead or crew lead picking up the signage and going to the job site. So that's really what we're trying to cut down on, is that paper-based system and the time delays. Now, moving forward, we want to go ahead and discuss the system requirements and specifications of the project. We'll try and move through this pretty quickly. Again, with the purpose statement, the signage inventory database system, which is the SIDS, which we'll be referring to throughout this project, is an interactive database system used for on-site data input and warehouse inventory. The initial release of 1.0 is set to determine the warehouse inventory system tracking requirements, establishing major feature components such as data inputs, sizing and specifications, notations and references, on-site accessibility, and real-time notifications and updates for future integration uses in release stages 2 and 3. So we're really going to be focusing on this initial stage, release number 1, creating this database system, but we need to prepare for stages 2 and 3 while creating this initial system. Now, the product purpose. The SIDS is an expansion of the paper-based system currently used throughout the organization. We want to keep the same processes that have been followed for years, to reduce the training, to keep a well-established system working, just minus the paper. Following the same processes or procedures established within the organization, the SIDS system is designed to automate the process using technology, eliminating the need of paper system. The SIDS will create a new system in which to input, monitor, and track signage aspects of the project management and installation, with a focus on expansion to other project management and inventory systems such as door installation. Outdoor installations was something that came up during the initial discussions about this project, but we decided to primarily focus on signage, to kind of create a blueprint of the database, that can then be expanded outwards. Project scope in phases. Now, phase 1, the scope of this project will be to establish the inventory database system for receiving and tracking signage through the warehouse facility, creating links to separate portions of the complete SIDS, meaning phase 1 will establish signage specifications and notations with inventory tracking numbers and purchasing related information. Accessibility will be generated to view tracking information through warehouse, office computers, company tablets, company tablets. A user interface will be designed to input information based on purchasing, warehouse, and on-site needs. Phase 2 will incorporate the development of the user interface, to meet the on-site usage needs to send and receive information. Phase 3 will include the expansion to other organizational departments based on authorization of company owner. So essentially what we're doing here is we're creating the database, we're creating how we're going to track the inventory, or how we're going to track the purchasing, and then we're going to go ahead and create a on-site our application that will allow, for the inputs for specific requirements. Following that, we are going to need the company's owner to go and expand into other phases. Let's go ahead and move on. Product inputs. This is just listing where the different inputs are going to be coming from. Project manager must be able to input office personnel, warehouse inputs, and crew lead inputs into the database system. System features. So database inventory, we obviously have a high priority feature establishing the database system, allowing for information to travel between destinations, um, including the data inputs from project manager, purchasing, warehouse personnel, resulting in accessibility through the inventory database system. Data inputs, high priority again, essentially stating the same thing. It's just we're listing the different features moving forward. System features, inventory tracking and location, notation and references. We're establishing the priority, high priority for inventory tracking and location, establishing inventory item numbers. Um, Project manager assigns new signs, purchasing order, new signs. New sign order number is attached to the inventory number. Item is received by warehouse and assigned same inventory number. All departments track the inventory number. We're just basically trying to map out a little bit how the tracking and locating system is going to work. Notations and references. It's a low priority, but it's something that needs to be put in there. Essentially, just any notations. This sign needs to be placed in this specific position. Let's see here. System features, on-site accessibility, again, phase 2, real-time notifications and updates. So on-site accessibility, high priority feature establishing on-site use through tablets and devices located on job sites and within the warehouse to reach the database system. So essentially what we want to be able to do is, although the warehouse system can go ahead and use computers to go ahead and track and input information, we want them to have a tablet-based system as well as the on-site crews to have a tablet-based system, project manager, tablet-based system for the entire database. Let's see here. Now, security requirements. This was a major concern of the owner, and so we wanted to go ahead and establish this. To ensure security of the system, role-based security will be utilized, allowing only the owner, project manager, and IT staff access to the entire system. Each employee will be issued a specific user login and password to identify and track data inputs and usage. Accessibility will be determined based on the employee's needs for their department. Additional accessibility approvals will be issued through IT and through IT with project manager or owner's approval. Basically, what we want to do is we want to split up each department's role. We don't want any confusion by the warehouse employee being able to input as if they were the crew lead. So each individual employee will be given their own login, their own password, established through the company. Okay. Now to move on to the diagrams.